Okay, let's dive right into this, because today we're taking a really hard look at a rule we've basically all been taught since day one. In our modern economy, we're handed this very specific equation for success. Time equals money. The conventional logic tells us, hey, if you want to make more money, you just got to work more hours, right? But what if I told you that this equation is actually a massive, dangerous financial trap? Welcome to today's explainer. We're going to completely deconstruct this time equals money myth, and I'm going to walk you through the exact 30-day path to $1,000 in monthly recurring revenue, or MRR. We are talking about making the massive shift from being a laborer to being an owner.
So here's our agenda for today. First, we'll cover the dangerous income ceiling. Second, the owner's leverage advantage. Third, the 30-day MRR blueprint. And finally, number 4, the ultimate mathematical shift.
All right, section 1, the dangerous income ceiling. Listen, if you've ever felt completely burnt out despite working constantly, it's probably because you're caught in a cycle where your earnings mathematically hit a brick wall. We call this the income ceiling. Why? Well, there are only 24 hours in a day. Even if you hustle 12 hours a day and literally never take a single weekend off, your income is mathematically capped. And here is the truly scary part. If you get sick, if you want to take a vacation, or if you just simply need a break for your own sanity, your income drops to absolutely zero. Let's look at the real-world impact of that ceiling. Take John, for example. John is a highly skilled freelance video editor. He charges a solid $50 an hour, and he takes on clients nationwide. But John is totally burning out. He's sacrificing his health and struggling to build true wealth because his time is completely maxed out. Every single dollar he makes requires a fraction of his physical energy. Now contrast that with Alex. Alex is a Micro-SaaS owner. That stands for software as a service, by the way. Alex realized that trading time for money is just a losing game. So instead of working more hours, Alex pursued leverage. He wanted an asset that works 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, without him having to actively manage it.
Which brings us to section 2, the owner's leverage advantage.
Code once, self forever. This isn't just a catchy little phrase, it's honestly a powerful anchor mantra for building wealth in the digital age. By writing code and building a simple software tool, Alex completely decoupled his time from his income. He doesn't get paid for how many hours he sits staring at a desk. He gets paid for the value his software provides. He builds it once, and then the software does the heavy lifting. Forever.
Okay, let's get into the execution phase. Section 3, the 30-day MRR blueprint.
This 30-day sprint is highly structured. We've got phase 1 covering the first week, phase 2 dominating the middle of the month, and phase 3 bringing us across the finish line in the final 10 days. You have to treat this like a strict schedule if you want to actually see these results. And those 3 phases correspond directly to these 3 sequential steps. Step 1, identify financial pain. Step 2, build the MVP or minimum viable product. And step 3, acquire users. The sequential dependency here is absolutely critical. You cannot acquire users if you haven't built the MVP, and you definitely shouldn't build an MVP if you haven't identified a real financial pain first. So the crucial point for phase 1 is this one strict rule. Do not write a single line of code. I know. It's super tempting to just crack your knuckles and start typing out a masterpiece. But in the world of tech and finance, value is created only where there's a problem. You need to become an observer. The most successful developers actually spend their first week scouring online communities, places like Reddit and Twitter. They're looking for creators or businesses that are wasting hours on tedious, repetitive manual tasks, things like downloading videos one by one or manually scheduling posts. You have to find a specific workflow that people are absolutely desperate to automate. Once you've found that deep pain point, you move to phase 2, days 8 to 20. Now it's time to build the MVP. Using accessible tools like Python and Flask, your goal is to just create a simple web application. The absolute secret here is that perfection is the enemy. Do not over-engineer this. You just need a functional tool that solves that exact pain point you found in week 1, and literally nothing more. For example, Alex noticed creators were wasting tons of time downloading and scheduling videos. He didn't build a massive, complex suite of video editing tools. He just built a lean, simple backend script to automate that one specific task. Simplicity is exactly how you hit that day 20 deadline. Which brings us to the final sprint, days 21 to 30. Phase 3 is all about the acquisition strategy. Because here's the harsh reality of it all. A great software tool has zero financial value if no one uses it.
In this final phase, your execution relies entirely on getting eyes on the product. You've got to utilize direct cold outreach, you implement building in public strategies on social media to drum up organic interest, and you go directly back to those niche communities on Reddit and Twitter where you first found the problem and you present your solution.
Now, what's really interesting about the math behind your acquisition strategy is that it relies on an incredibly small number, 35 to 40. To hit that $1,000 monthly recurring revenue milestone, you do not need thousands of customers. You only need to acquire just 35 to 40 users who are willing to pay, say, $25 to $30 a month. That's it. It's a totally achievable target when you're solving a highly specific, really painful problem for a niche community.
All right, bringing it all together. Section 4, the ultimate mathematical shift.
Let's just pause for a second and really let the math here sink in because it so starkly dramatizes the difference between our two paths. Let's say the goal is to earn $2,900 this month. On the laborer path, John has to work 58 exhausting hours of physical labor to hit that number. He is entirely reliant on his own physical energy. Now look at the owner path. For Alex to make that exact same $2,900, he simply needs 100 automated subscribers. He doesn't work 58 extra hours. His code does the labor around the clock.
And that right there leads us to the absolute magic of the Micro-SaaS model: extreme scalability. Whether Alex has 10 users paying him or 1,000 users paying him, the code performs the exact same labor. It doesn't get tired, it doesn't need a weekend off, and it costs almost absolutely nothing extra to add a new customer. In the modern tech economy, you don't need a physical factory to build an empire. You just need to write scalable code that solves a problem and then charge a monthly fee for it.
Which leaves us with one final big question. Will you keep hitting the income ceiling, trading your exhausted hours for dollars? Or is it finally time to build your leverage? The math is pretty clear, but the real question is, what exact problem are you going to solve first? It's time to completely rethink your relationship with work. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and I will see you next time.